Good evening, this is BelGeode and we are back with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator preview videos. And folks, we're starting to wind down the whole preview series here because according to my calendar, today is the 13th of August. This sim releases on the 18th of August. That means we've got 5 days left and I don't have enough time to go through this entire list of places that people have suggested. No more suggestions, please. But I'll tell you what I will do. Once the sim has been released, I'm sure a lot of you have already purchased it and will most likely be flying in your home areas and so on. So chances are you probably won't want to see a video on your home area. But for those of you who are still on the fence, or those of you who are holding off either for a better computer or for VR or whatnot, this will be for you. When I continue the series as official review videos as opposed to preview videos, what I'll do is just basically continue the same format where I'll do little tours around the areas and so on and so forth. And I have a bunch of areas that I would like to show, like places in South America or in Oceania or French Polynesia or even in Europe. I want to show some areas in Europe that don't often get a lot of love on YouTube. But for tonight's video, first off, I am going to give a shout out to Marcelo De S Nunes. I hope I said your name correctly. You were the person who suggested that we fly to this location. And as I'm zooming into Mother Earth, you will see we are at Mama Africa. More to the point, we're in Nigeria. So we're going to be flying to Lagos, Nigeria. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It could be Lagos. I don't know. I'm just going to call it Lagos because it sounds better to me, but I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments, as you always do. So here's our nifty little flight plan for the day, and then we're going to discuss the flight conditions because I've actually changed things around this time. So we're going to be taking off from Delta Bravo, Bravo, Bravo. I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Cajahoun or something like that? Cajahoun? I really don't know. But that's where we're taking off from. We're going to go over the water to Ranal Waypoint, and we're going to hang a left, I believe that is. So we'll make a U-turn basically. Head to Polto, head to LM, and then we'll descend from roughly about 8,000 feet to MMS 12. We'll overfly the city on our way into Delta November Mike, or Murtala Mohammed Airport. I'm hoping that airport is still active because so far, the last two videos, you all have told me that one of the two airports that I flew to is not exactly active in the real world. We'll see how Microsoft did this time. Our chariot for the day is going to be the Cessna 208 Bravo Grand Caravan. I love this one, well, not only because of the fact that it's a Cessna, but it's also the only one that they have in the lineup of default aircraft that has some purple on it. Thank you. Thank you, Microsoft and Asobo. Now, you know I always like to teach you something, so here we go. We are going to go into flight conditions because this time around, I did not leave it as live weather. I actually created a custom preset, and I'm going to show you as quickly as I can. You know I like to ramble, but I'm going to show you as quickly as I can how I did that. First off, in order to be able to access all of this, you have to have your settings a certain way. So you'll notice I'm clicking on the left side here. All players is selected, live traffic is selected, custom is selected. If you have live players and live traffic selected, it will automatically set you to live weather and time. You will not be able to adjust it. You have to have one of the two of these set to either these or these, and then it will allow you access to either one of the presets that Microsoft and Asobo have provided or custom weather, which is what we are concerned with today. So what I did was I actually took the scattered clouds preset that they had and saved it using one of the two icons on the right hand side of this little arrow that I'm clicking on and called it custom scattered clouds. And of course you can see the display. There's the vertical display that indicates where your clouds are and what your wind levels are, and you can even add additional winds like perhaps higher up near the cirrus clouds. On the right hand side, you've got, of course, the day of the week and the month and the year, as well as the time. And then moving down, you've got things such as aerosol density. Now, I have this up really high, and there's a reason why I did that. I believe it was the Bangalore video. I had a few comments where you had mentioned that Bangalore is usually a lot more hazy. It's not usually that clear. It is possible that I may have adjusted that. I don't remember if I was just going with a true real world weather setting or if I'd made slight adjustments for the sake of the video itself, just so I could show off the scenery itself. But suffice to say, we have got a very hazy day today, so it's going to look misty. We also have precipitation. You know what that is. Rain, snow, that sort of thing. We're leaving that at 0. Same for lightning. We don't want any thunderstorms today. Our temperatures are all here. Notice that they're all measured in Celsius or centigrade if you prefer. And of course, we've got our barometric pressure registered in hectopascals. So 1013, which is basically the equivalent of 29.902 inches of mercury. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the left-hand side here. So we have this diamond down here that represents the wind at the surface. If we click on that, it'll actually give us more details. So you've got your wind direction. In this case, it's going to be blowing out of the southwest at 217 degrees for a speed of about 8.8 knots. That should be fine for our takeoff, but it's going to mean that we'll have a little bit of a crosswind on that landing. Now you can also set wind gusts, which honestly I don't have everything set to where it's really going to bother us, but it may play a little bit of a role as we're trying to come in. Basically, the slower we get, the more susceptible we may be to wind gusts. We'll see how well that's going to work out. All right, and that is pretty much everything that I wanted to show you about that. Now, one of the things that I believe the devs are working on, actually two of the things. The first thing is the ability to do like historic weather. I know we're used to like Active Sky and Rex giving us historic weather. That does not technically exist in this sim. You would have to create a custom preset for that. That's something the devs are aware of, and I'm sure it'll be coming at some point in time. The other thing is, if you look at this cloud level here, the one that's really high up, that's typically where your cirrus clouds are, and technically they don't yet have the 3D volumetric cirrus clouds in the sim. So kind of a way that they've done a workaround is to allow you to set the top and bottom altitudes as close together as possible, so that way it'll flatten the cloud, and then you adjust things like the scatter and coverage to make them stretch out. That I think is an ingenious little workaround, but they are going to be working on quote-unquote true cirrus clouds at some point in time. Just not yet. It's coming soon. What I will do is I will link the full Microsoft Q&A video that they just wrapped up earlier today. It is currently on YouTube. It is also on Twitch, saved as a VOD or video on demand. So look for that in my video description if you want to see all of the answers that Microsoft and Asobo were able to give us. Alright, that is everything that I wanted to show you tonight as far as weather and so on. So, you know what we're going to do next. We are going to hop into the Grand Caravan and we're going to go for a flight around Nigeria. So I will see you in the cockpit. Alrighty folks, we are in the cockpit of the Cessna Grand Caravan, and I gotta say, I really like this one. This is the kind of aircraft that I would love to fly in real life. You know, assuming of course I ever decide to finish up getting my private pilot's license and actually get access to one of these puppies. I'm not even sure if I would need like an ATP for that. I don't know. But anyway, here we are at Cajaun, I believe it is pronounced. And we're going to go ahead and get everything started up really quick. And then we'll set on our way for Lagos. Now, what I'm going to do is the same thing that I did the last time. So we'll get rid of the yokes. And then we're going to go up here and set our AI co-pilot to help us out with a checklist. Right there. And of course, we're going to hop into the checklist. Now, you'll notice that there's not a whole heck of a lot on this checklist, so this should go relatively quickly. Alright, so first let me center my head so it doesn't go all over the place.
Fuel selector.
Okay, so we need to make sure both of those are on. This will be a heck of a
Both
lot
on.
better in VR once we actually have VR. Alright, next page. Okay, and we'll set ourselves up for evaluation.
Engine ignition selectors.
Alright, we'll flip that
Norm.
to norm. Oh, it's already on norm.
Power lever.
Power lever. That's our throttle control, I believe. So, why is it at 3%? Come on, go all the way down. Well, that's embarrassing. It won't go any lower than 3%. I could always click autocomplete, but I'm just kind of moving my throttle here to see if it'll actually take. I think that's reversed thrust. Come on, do your thing.
Idle.
Sheesh.
Prop RPM lever.
Okay, this one should work, so we'll just put that all the way up.
Max RPM.
There we go. Okay. And I believe that is it for the second page. These checklists seem awfully light. I don't know if they plan on adding more to them. Alright, evaluate.
Battery switch.
That's an easy one. Turn that on.
On. Beacon.
Beacon light on.
On. Avionics no. One switch.
Avionics no one. That's on.
Fuel boost.
Fuel boost. Need to hit that twice.
On.
Okay.
Starter. On.
And now we
Fuel
wait.
condition lever.
That goes to low idle. Whoops.
Low idle.
There we go.
Starter.
Alright, starter can come off now that I hear the engine moving.
Off. Fuel boost.
Fuel boost to norm. That way we
Norm.
avoid a hot start.
Avionics no. Two switch.
Avionics no too. That's hilarious. Okay, so there's definite areas of opportunity there. And that is it for the startup checklist. So we're pretty much done with that. We won't need to do anything else with that. I'm still laughing about that no. It's obvious that they're using like a text-to-speech kind of thing. So yeah, there's going to be changes that may need to be made on that. Now, the one thing I don't know is whether or not users will actually be able to make their own checklists and substitute them for what's already there, or if we're waiting for Microsoft to add more fully fleshed out checklists in a patch. But I'm not going to worry about that because we have the aircraft started and that's all I need to do. I've set our cruise altitude for 7,000, and right about now I'm turning on all the necessary switches. So let me get our instrument brightness up and our glare shield brightness, as well as our pedestal lighting. Those other two switches are for the dome lights in the cockpit, and they're kind of hard to reach with the inertial separator in the way, so we just like pull that out and then put this up a notch because it is going to be nighttime really soon, so we might need light in the cabin. Push that back in, and I'm going to take the time to set our takeoff trim right now, so that'll help us get off the ground easier. And of course our flaps, we're going to need flaps. So takeoff flaps are set, and I believe that is everything we need to do. So yeah, it looks like all the switches. Oh, those two. That's our no smoking sign and our fasten seatbelt sign. If we were carrying passengers, they would be sitting pretty back there. And hey, there's even lights in this thing too in the cabin. Let me turn on the cabin lighting real quick. See, look at that. Look at the ceiling. Now, it's not nearly as impressive in the daytime, but trust me, at night, it looks like a real cabin. It's really cool. All right, we'll turn that off for now so we're not like wasting electricity, so to speak. Okay, I think we are just about set. Yep. All right. I'm thinking it's time for my co-pilot to take over the duties. So the first thing the co-pilot's going to want to do is to call for a pushback. So we'll set that up really quick here. There we go.
Code new ground, Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo requesting pushback. Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo pushback.
Oh, we got a lady this time. Hey girl, push us back safely, please. Alright, let me just make sure our parking brakes are off. Otherwise, she's gonna have double the work there. Okay. And we should be done with our pushback in short order. So I'm just setting up the PFD here. We'll get our winds going. And we also need to set up our CDI.
Alpha Golf Bravo requesting the end of pushback. Cessna 5 November. Alpha Golf Bravo request to end pushback received.
Thank you, sis. Appreciate that.
Code New Ground, Cessna 5 November. Lady. Alpha Golf Bravo ready to taxi east departure.
Alright, I should probably set
Cessna
this
5 November.
to
Alpha
transponder.
Golf Bravo taxi to and hold short of runway 24 using taxiway. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
Okay, so far so good. Runway 24 is exactly what I wanted.
Short runway 24 via taxiway Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
You can see our climb out there and then our little U-turn. Alright, so you know what we've got to do. Let's get to the hold short, and of course we're going to go to the outside view as we taxi to that spot.
Tower Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo at runway 24 ready for takeoff east departure. Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo cleared for takeoff runway 24 east departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 24 Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
Okay, so here we are at the hold short, and as you can see, it is a T-bone shape, so it'll handle both directions, which also means we're going to need to taxi all the way to the end and turn around. Forgot my taxi lights, but let's get all the other lights on. So our landing lights, we'll need our strobes and our pitot heat, and I believe we're supposed to flip the other two switches as well, so go ahead and have you up. We'll set our transponder to alt, so we're currently squawking 7,000. And everything looks good there. Okay. Alright, quick check for traffic. I'm so used to like X-Plane and Airfly where there really is no traffic, so I need to get into the habit of looking around for traffic at all times, because you never know when a player or an AI is going to come flying in, and I might not be on a proper frequency to hear them. Okay, so we are going to be going to the right, and I am going to do the magic of editing, and we'll end up back in the cockpit once we make our turnaround. Wow, this is a little bit longer of a runway than I thought. I don't even think we're going to use all of this. Alright, but let's go outside. I kind of get the impression they really didn't give me enough space to turn around there. But it's a good thing this thing has a tight turn radius as long as you're not moving too fast. Okay, let's get our fuel mixture up to full. I'm not even sure that they call it a fuel mixture lever in this particular aircraft. There's so much about the Caravan that I don't know, but I'm looking forward to learning a lot more about it. Alright, everything else does appear to be good, so you know what it is going to be time for. Let me just adjust my seat position so I can see over the nose. And brakes down, throttles up. Okay, we're probably going to redline this thing, but as long as we keep it to just around takeoff, we should be fine. Brakes are off, we'll compensate for that torque. And there you can see the flashing red and white on my engine. So yeah, we're definitely redlining, but that is fine. This thing should jump into the air given the fact that I've got it trimmed properly. There's a little bit of a hump in the runway coming here, so I'm kind of curious to see if we're going to end up using that as a ski ramp. Yep, sure enough, that is awesome. I love takeoffs like that. That is nice and easy. Cool beans. All right, we'll get our flaps up momentarily here. But take your last look at Geode Airport. And I believe the city that's surrounding it is Cotonou, if I'm not too mistaken. And look at that beach. Wow. I'm a sucker for a good beach, and that is impressive.
Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo, continue for east departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
All right, good deal.
Cotonou Tower, Cessna 5 November. Alpha Golf Bravo, continue for east departure.
Okay, so we're getting the autopilot set up while the co-pilot takes care of business there. So we've got our nav hold on, and I'm going to pull the throttle back just a bit so that way we're not redlining. I'll need to change the prop pitch momentarily, but I'll do that relatively soon. We seem to be climbing at a good rate, so let me get the landing lights and taxi lights off. And our flaps are already up, so we're pretty good to go. And what a gorgeous sunset. See, this is why I set the aerosol so high, because it makes the sunset so dramatically beautiful. And to prove that point, let's go to the outside view right now.
Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo, frequency change. Cockpit approach Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo is type Cessna Caravan 4 miles southwest of Cockpit, 2,000 feet, request clearance to transition Bravo airspace. Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo, Cockpit approach, squawk 6134. Squawk 6134, Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo. Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo radar contact 4 miles southwest of Cockpit, 2,400 feet, cleared through the Bravo airspace. Cleared through the Bravo airspace, Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
All right, so now that we are cleared through the Bravo airspace, let's go ahead and get that prop pitch back here, provided, of course, I can reach it. There we go, 87 should be fine. Man, this is where I can't wait for VR, because I can actually move my head properly and get at that thing instead of running into issues like I have been. All right, so again, we've got a beautiful sunset. You can see our U-turn is coming up, so we're going to go back to the outside view in a moment. I just want to point out that since I've set this wind to be a slight crosswind, you may notice that the aircraft throughout the video will be swaying left to right. That is actually normal. If you were in a real aircraft, it would do that, but it seems visually exaggerated for the sim. I feel like there's a lot that I should be thanking both Microsoft and Asobo for. I mean, first and possibly the most obvious would be the incredible opportunity to go out to Seattle with the rest of the YouTube crew to actually fly this thing for the first time. That was huge. I didn't even know you guys watched Three Grumpy Simmers until we got the email saying, hey, you guys want to go to Seattle? That was awesome. And then, of course, I should also thank them for allowing us to be one of the first people in the alpha test, and, of course, putting up with all my ranty feedback emails as I basically rip into them about the things that I would like them to fix, which, by the way, they got through my list of things that they needed to fix, so I am extremely grateful for that. And then, of course, a big thank you for this preview version of the sim that they have allowed us to show you for the last couple of weeks or so. I do have the release version that was given to media to show. However, since I don't do live streaming, I've decided not to download and install that just yet. And since I actually bought the Premium Deluxe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until Tuesday the 18th, just like everyone else, and download it and then start making my videos from then. But probably the biggest thing that I want to thank Microsoft for is including an aircraft that I would actually love to fly that has a purple livery. Mind blown. Okay, so we are finally at our cruise altitude, and we just happen to be over the lowest levels of clouds. You can still see that there's some slightly above us there. One thing I do want to kind of point out here in this pre-release version, this beta version here, I did notice that even though I had set the weather, as you saw in the beginning of this video, once I actually got into the aircraft, it changed the weather, so I had to reset a lot of my stuff there. Minor annoyance, but at least it only took me a few seconds to do. Alright, I have this zoomed out to our next waypoint there. So yeah, we should get there in short order. Actually, even shorter than that, considering the fact that I've been using the magic of editing to speed up this flight. I was kind of hoping this would just be like a 30-minute video, but I'm not going to lie to you folks, it's probably going to end up closer to an hour. But then, if you're a long-time subscriber to this channel, you know an hour is pretty much the average length of my videos. For those of you who are not interested in that, well, what can I tell you? Alright, but everything seems to be going well, and it looks like we actually picked up a pretty decent tailwind here. So you can definitely see us rocking side to side, as I explained earlier. I am really curious to see how this is going to translate to VR, because as you know, in VR, your head tracking, your headset itself pretty much denotes the movements that you're seeing. So it's kind of difficult to accurately portray the effects of turbulence while you're in VR. But I noticed that the way that the cameras are designed in this particular sim, it seems to do a pretty good job of mimicking that. So I'm hoping that they keep that same thing for VR.
123.1.
Ooh, new center. Nice.
123.1 Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
Alright, so our co-pilot's taking care of that.
Accra Center, Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo 7,000 feet.
And I'm basically just sightseeing.
Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo Accra Center, continue to Poldo as planned, altimeter 29.2.
Cool beans. Alright, so since we are getting close to our next waypoint, what I'm going to want to do is set our altitude for approach. We won't activate it yet until we get about halfway to that waypoint, to the next waypoint that is. But I figure now would probably be a good time to be ahead of the curve, so we're going to set up 1,500 feet for our approach. I know that might be a little bit lower than what is typically used. Usually it's around 2,000-ish. But 1,500 will be a good height for us to actually see the buildings in Lagos.
Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo, contact Kano Center on 121.7. 121.7 Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo. Kano Center, Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo 7,000 feet. Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo Kano Center, continue to Poldo as planned, altimeter 29.2.
Alright, so far it's been a largely uneventful flight, which is great. That's exactly how I like things here. We have picked up a bit more of a crosswind, however, so we're going to be doing that side-to-side shuffle more vigorously. One thing I do want to do is I want to check our descent altitudes. Okay, so when we hit LM, we should be around 5,800 feet, it says. And once we hit MKS-12, we should be at about 2,400 feet. And then 1,500 for the next waypoint after that. Okay, so we're going to begin our descent right now, but I'm going to make it nice and easy here. So no more than about 400 or so feet per minute. And of course, we'll put our mixture back to full, pull our throttle back, and pull our prop pitch back up to 100%. So basically what that's going to do is ensure that we stay relatively around the same speed for the beginning part of our descent here. It's a shame I can't see like any animals or anything, especially from this altitude. I'm not even sure if animals are actually in this area. You can always refer to some of the other videos, like one that Obsidian Ant put on YouTube that actually tells you where all the animals are. But folks, it's only a few more days until you can find them yourself, which I think is going to be pretty awesome, seeing all the videos and all the screenshots and stories that you all come up with. It's been our time to basically show you everything about this sim, and while I've thoroughly enjoyed it, it is kind of taking away from some of the other series that I like to do. So more than likely what's going to end up happening with me is once we actually get to a place where everybody has the sim, I might take a little break before coming back and doing more Microsoft Flight Simulator videos. And I'm trying to figure out the best possible way to do that. I don't know if I want to do it as tours or maybe previewing some of the awesome third-party add-ons that are going to be coming. I'm still, as of yet, undecided. But knowing me, it's probably going to be a mixture of both. But I do kind of want to get back into my DCS and my Arma and X-Plane and all that as well, too. Okay, things are going well.
Golf Bravo contact Lagos approach on 124 decimal tree.
Ooh, Lagos approach. This is good. This is very good.
Going to 124 decimal tree Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
That means we're getting close to our destination.
Lagos approach Cessna 5 November. Alpha Golf Bravo 6,000 feet.
Okay.
5 November. Alpha Golf Bravo Lagos approach. Continue to Lima Mike as planned. Altimeter 29er decimal 9er 2.
Alright, so we are supposed to be at 5,800 at Lima Mike. It looks like we're going to be close to that, but not exactly on the numbers. I could have compensated for that by changing our vertical speed of descent, but I think it'll be fine, because honestly I want to make sure that we are at 1,500 by the time we make that final turn to get into the runway. But yeah, so far so good. It looks like we are actually going to make everything on time. Now the real interesting part is going to be coming down through these clouds, because technically this is a VFR flight, and if you know anything about VFR, visual flight rules, you really should be avoiding clouds. If you're doing like IFR, that's a different story entirely. You're going to do what the ATC tells you to do, but typically in VFR we try to look for holes in the clouds that we're going to poke through, so that way we're not actually losing our visibility. And it looks like we might have one coming up, provided of course we don't turn off to the right anytime soon. Alright, well it looks like I stand corrected. There actually is a hole in the clouds here. So let me just adjust my vertical descent so that way we can go right through that little hole over the delta there. And we should be good to go. I won't be busting any VFR rules or anything like that. Let me check everything else really quick. Looks like everything's set to go. We'll turn on the landing lights once we get a little bit lower, like around 2,500 feet thereabouts. So yeah, not too shabby. I gotta say, I'm really enjoying the heck out of this plane. And I know typically I've been flying like the Cessna 172 or whatnot, but I think I'm gonna make more videos with this aircraft, like around Papua New Guinea and so on. One thing that I am gonna show you in the near future, I'm currently waiting on the permission from the developer to showcase it for you. If you're familiar with Bert Rutan's Long EZ, well, our good buddy Dino Cataneo, the maker of the F-14 Tomcat Delta model that featured prominently in my old FSX series, is creating that for Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I really want to show it off because it's such an unusual bird, and it's always one of those that's had a soft spot in my heart. So that probably will be the first official video once we get past the launch date of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know exactly when I will put that on YouTube, but definitely look for that. Like I said, I'm just waiting for Dino's okay to actually showcase the finished product. So there you go. Now, one thing I do want to do, I want to show you what this scenery looks like at night. Initially, I wanted to do this as a night flying video, but I realized the people who requested to see Nigeria probably want to be able to see the houses and so on. But I do want to take a moment to just manually adjust the time in the sim, and as you can see, you can do this live, so that way you can see how beautiful it is at night. And one of the things that I want you to pay close attention to, aside from, of course, the fact that, you know, there's street lights and everything everywhere, I want you to pay close attention to how the humidity creates that glow in the air. That looks really cool. Let's go to the outside so that we can appreciate this further. Oh wow, you know what I just noticed, folks? That wing ice light actually is a light. I thought it was just like, you know, something on the panel that lights up whenever you've got icing. So let's go ahead and turn that off. See, I've got so much more to learn about this aircraft. Wow. Alright, but while we're on the subject of lights, let's get our landing lights on. Come to think of it, that should look good with this humidity too. Let's go back outside and check it out really quick here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Alright, let's see how we're doing here with our approach. Airport is out there somewhere. I can't quite see it yet. But I know it's a little ways in past the built-up areas of Lagos. Or Lagos, however you pronounce it. Just going to go with Lagos because that's what the ATC is doing. And, well, even though the ATC is prone to being wrong, yeah, it sounds better than Lagos. I know I said the opposite earlier in the video, but I changed my mind. Haha. Alright, either way, we should be getting close to our turn. Yep, speak of the devil. Let's go outside for that. Ah, so look at that dusk. And folks, sunset and dusk.
Lagos Tower Cessna 5 November.
Whoop, hold that thought.
Alpha Golf Bravo is 11 miles south with Kilo to land.
Oh, there's the airport. Nice.
Cessna 5 November. Alpha Golf Bravo Lagos Tower. Make left downwind runway 18 right. Altimeter 29er decimal 9er 2 wind 220 at 14.
Wait, what? Oh, crap.
Enter left downwind runway 18 right. Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
You know what I just realized, folks? In my fervor for making a flight plan that would have me fly over the city on the way in, I completely forgot what I set the winds to. And since they're static, yeah, we're gonna need to go past the airport and then come in the opposite way to where we're headed right now. Okay, so there's a lesson in flight planning for you. Always check your weather at your arrival airport. Alright, this will actually give me a good time to show you what goes on in the G1000. As you can see, we've got VOR DME approaches and ILS. I'm not feeling up to an ILS approach today, so we'll do a VOR DME, which basically means, once we load this up, it should automatically sequence to the waypoint that we are going to need to use for this approach, which is actually the VOR just to the north of the airport. Let me zoom it out here. You can see it right there. So it's way beyond the airport, and it is tracking us to that VOR right now. So we're actually going to overfly the airport, turn around, do another 180 just like we did on takeoff, and then head in to land on the opposite heading. So my bad, my bad. Well, if nothing else, one thing that this will definitely give us the opportunity to do here is to check out more of the built-up areas of Lagos, as well as the airport itself. Now, as is typical for these videos, I've been showing you default airports because I know that is really what most people want to see. As far as the handcrafted airports, well, you'll get to check those all out on Tuesday. If you can't wait, there's always videos online that already show what those airports look like. But the default is what we're most concerned with because we want to see just how accurate Microsoft and Asobo were. So with that having been said, as we are rapidly approaching our destination airport here, let's go back to the outside view for an extended look at the surrounding areas.
Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo cleared to land runway 18 right, wind 220 at 14. Cleared to land runway 18 right, Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
Alright, so there we go. We have been cleared to land, but we still have a little ways to go to get to our VOR. I may not take it all the way to the VOR. I think what my plan is going to be is to sync up our heading, and then we'll put it on heading hold for a little while. We'll go out a couple of miles thereabouts, because remember, we're at 1,500 feet, so we're a little lower than we ought to be. And then we will do like a teardrop approach. We should be lined up perfectly for the runway. At least that's my plan, and I intend to stick to it. But I started to say earlier that dusk and sunset are my absolute favorite times to fly. But I know that a lot of you want to see what the houses and so on look like, so we're going to play with the time settings again, and I'm going to set it to, let me see, probably about 2 o'clock, thereabouts. We'll go back to the outside view and we'll take a good look at how all of these houses look. And then we'll get back into the aircraft, do our turn around to final, and bring this baby home. So, back to the outside we go. There you go, folks. As you can see, they did a pretty spectacular job here on making these houses look like African houses, similar to what they did in Bangalore, making the houses there look decidedly Indian. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to set the time back to where I would like to have it. What time did we have? Was it 7:32 or 7:34? You know what? 32 is fine. All right, so there we go. We're back to our night flight. And I really wanted to show this to you because not a lot of folks have actually shown you what night flying looks like. And this is just going to look so incredible in VR. I was always a big believer in the night flying in X-Plane because I thought that they did that right. But I hate to say it, this does look better than X-Plane. Wow, it's pretty impressive. All right, but we do need to land this bird, and I do need to end this video, so I'm turning the autopilot off now. We're going to make a sharp left bank here and try to stay on altitude. So far, so good. Just keep bringing her around, and we'll see how well I'm able to line up here. I know that it did pass us over the center of the airport, so we should be right where we need to be. Yep, there you can see the runway there, so it looks like we're just a little to the left of it, so I'll kind of shallow up our turn here. And then we'll straighten up. I have to remember that there is a slight crosswind, so we may need to crab this thing in. That seems to be a recurring theme with all of these videos that I've done, is having to crab everything in. But I think we should be able to do it. I don't see any large obstacles in the way of our approach, so yeah, we should be able to pull this off. I know there are some trees on the northern side of the airport, but I'm hoping we should be able to miss it. All right, here we go. Yep, we are crabbing our way in. Whew, you can see the little wind display there just to the right of the airspeed indicator and just to the left of our compass rose. Yeah, that's what happens when you set up fake weather conditions here. It does not change, and it remains pretty brutal on the way in. Now, part of the reason why I did that was basically I wanted to show off the sunset. I mean, really, there's no other reason for it. I wanted to show off the sunset, and I wanted to show off the humidity that makes the air look, on the one hand, really hazy, but on the other hand, kind of beautiful, especially this time of the day. All right, but powering down, let's bring this bird home. All right, well, you heard the lady. We are at 500 feet, and it looks like it's pretty clear for us to come in, so we're going to kind of hold this attitude here. Pull the power back just a touch here, because I do feel like I'm a little high. I notice on this way in, I don't see any VASI or PAPI lights. But there's the middle marker for an ILS approach, so okay, we'll go with that. We'll assume we're in the right spot here. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables to the upright position. We are about to hit the deck, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Of course, knowing me, I'm probably going to float here, so we're just about at the touchdown zone. Cut the power back. This is a very long runway, as we saw coming in, so I'm not worried about being too floaty here. There we go. We are down. The front gear is down. That is the high-speed turn-off for the opposite direction. There is no way in heck I'm going to be able to make that, so we're just going to keep on going until we reach the high-speed turn-off that we would like to have. And I think our parking spot is somewhere over there. I love the fact that they have a mix of trees. You'll see palm trees and, you know, your typical African deciduous trees and so on. Tropical trees, I guess you would say. But yes, welcome to Lagos, Nigeria. And here is our turn off. So we'll hit the brakes really quick.
Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo exit runway.
Working on it, buddy. I am working on it. All right, another lovely landing.
Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo contact ground on 121.9er.
All right, will do. Copilot will handle that.
121.9er for Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
I'm going to pull us to a stop right here, and we'll configure the plane for taxiing in.
Lagos ground, Cessna 5 November, Alpha Golf Bravo request taxi to parking.
Let me get that inertial separator out so I can adjust the lights.
Alpha Golf Bravo taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha.
There we go. Okay, and we'll get our taxi lights on.
Aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Cessna Alpha Golf Bravo.
I think we can also turn off the pitot heat and all the other stuff, so let's do that. Alright, pitot heat switch, stall heat, strobes are already off, so we're pretty much set to go. Transponder is on standby. Flaps, you can go back up. And we'll get the inertial separator back in. Incidentally, the inertial separator is used to keep foreign objects out of the engine scoop. Okay, so we fast forwarded a little bit here, and here we are right at our turnoff. So we're going to slow down, and I believe our parking spot should be all the way to the left, so we'll pull up there. I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed these Microsoft Flight Simulator preview videos. We've got one more left that's going to have the official preview in the title, and then after that, like I said earlier, I plan on installing the version that I paid for, and of course we'll get started with doing all of the regular Microsoft Flight Simulator videos in the format that I have yet to decide on what to do. I can barely see the people over there. Alright, well, we'll keep moving on and we'll get into our parking spot. While I am doing that, I just want to remind you that once the last preview video goes up, which is not this one obviously, but the next one, I will be taking a brief break from Microsoft Flight Simulator videos to get back into some of the other stuff like DCS and so on. It's been a while since I've actually posted a DCS video, and I've got some stuff that's been sitting there that I really would like to get out. So if you join the channel for the Microsoft Flight Simulator videos, I do hope that you enjoy some of the other content as well. As we're pulling into our parking spot, I want you to take a close look at the marshaller that we've got there. I think it's a woman. But look at that, she's got glowing batons in her hands. That is too cool. I haven't seen that in any other sims, and granted, I don't often get to parking spots that would have a marshaller. Oh, there we go, we'll put the brakes on. But yeah, that is really cool that they included that. Wow. Alright, well, that will just about do it for me, so I'm going to go ahead and get everything turned off, and while I'm doing that, I would like to thank you all once again for watching this video. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and this has been one of my preview videos of the sim. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like, and don't forget to subscribe if you are so inclined, and that way you'll get notifications anytime I put up a Microsoft Flight Simulator video, or DCS, or Arma 3, or X-Plane 11, or the list just goes on and on and on. There's a lot of stuff on this channel. I've been doing this channel for quite some time, so be sure to check some of it out. You never know, you might find something you will like. But that will do it for me for now. So as I'm powering down, I am going to wish everyone a wonderful evening, and thank you again. Alrighty folks, talk to you later. Ciao!